Hello, beautiful Aries. Happy 2020. This is going to be a January message or a whole bunch of messages for you. Let me start off by first stating my intention. My intention is to help you receive information that will lighten your load. And what I mean by that is to hopefully give you information that has the potential to shift your vibration, to increase the level of how you vibrate, to essentially help you through the ascension process. And as Aries, because of that, my focus is on providing you with information that would ultimately help you see certain things about yourself, and potentially to have how you see things change. In other words, my aim is always to be able to show you a different perspective, because with having a different perspective, everything in life shifts and changes. The number that was given for you was the number 8. To me, it's a very strong number. I also want to say it's a very functional number. For some reason, I want to say that. So there is, to me, it symbolizes January being a strong month for you, but it's also a month that will require some hard work and maybe some muscle, some strength. We are pulling just out of ending an old year and beginning a new year, so we are starting brand new cycles. And as I mentioned, I'm focusing on ascension. So let's see what you might want to drop in terms of heavy baggage in the month of January. 2 cards are representing the theme, so to speak, and I chose these cards, or I was led to use these cards, because they have no names, they have no labels. I purely go by my intuition, and that is more of what I feel I am going to be doing going forward. Ultimately, it is to fully consciously channel. But these energies represent the month of January, thereabouts. This is the first card that I saw. To me, it symbolizes release. However you interpret this card is beautiful and unique to you. I will give you my interpretation or the message I get from it. The first thing I hear is let go of the past, let go of the past, let go of the past. And that's something that we, say to ourselves and to other people all the time, but there's always a bit of residual that is quote unquote stuck in our past. So let's deal with some of the residual. Anything concentrated, meaning anything that is unresolved in the past that still affects you today as you're watching this, is something that you might want to let go of. And it's going to be different things for different people. But if there is something, if you are aware of something that is still connected to your past, if you have some unresolved anger from someone in the past, if you have some unresolved hurt, unresolved pain, and that pain still affects you, in other words, it is still somewhere in the back of your mind, and because of it, you filter your life through it. And if it affected you negatively, then that is something you might want to deal with. Not forget, because it's hard to forget things like that, but to deal with. So this would be emotional baggage, so to speak, anything that has left you feeling discontent, bewildered. So bewildered is another word for confusion. Anything that has transpired lately or a long time ago that has made you confused and unsure of yourself as a result of it, those are the things that you might want to address. Why? Because my aim and Joanna's aim is to help you to lighten your load, because those are all heavier energies, if you will. What will happen as a result of that? Here's what I see. Basically, there's several messages. The first message is hands off, and the other message I hear is let go of control. If there are some unresolved issues or challenging in your past that are affecting you the way you think, and because of that way of thinking, you have a tendency to want to control everything, this is the time for you to not only realize it, acknowledge it, but also understand why it is true for you. In other words, without having an understanding why, sometimes it's a lot more difficult to let things go, okay? Whatever has transpired somewhere in your past that has made you be someone you are today, if you have any challenges around control, this could be fearing control, being controlling, needing to control, having fears of not having control, anything that's control related, those are the type of things you might want to start looking at in the month of January. Another message here is hands off, as if to say the universe is bringing you something and your job is to let it happen. In other words, when we let it happen, we generally don't try to put too much brakes on or too many brakes on. We'll resist less. And we are all moving into, I almost want to say faster paced energy, much more potent energy in terms of creation. So no doubt, whoever you are being led to your new beginning, your new future as well. Whatever is trying to be birthed right now in your life is a process that takes time, and it will take time for it to take shape that you can recognize. In other words, there may be some things in your life right now that you are experiencing, but you have no idea why, or you do not know what these situations will mean to you down the road. So if you're going through some changes, whether it be physical changes, whether it be emotional changes, whether it be marital changes, if you're going through some changes, and chances are you are, because we are ending a cycle, then that means there is something in the future for you as a result of this change. You may not know what this change is, because you may not know what shape it will take, so to speak, but it's important for you to let it or to allow it to happen. What's happening with me right now, Joanna, is I'm monitoring everything I say, which means I am not allowing it to fully flow through. And me recognizing it allows me to kind of get back into the flow of things, where I don't let my mind interfere as much in terms of what flows through me. So you're basically watching me learning how to be a better channel. And that takes practice. And what I just did right now is I basically said to you, right now I'm vulnerable. I am in a space where information is flowing through me. I am aware of the fact that I use my logic to investigate it and question. And when I do that, I actually interfere with the flow. In other words, it is okay to not know what you're doing sometimes, as long as you trust that whatever is happening for the right reasons. I trust Spirit. I know Spirit will never let me down or put me in a situation where I would refuse to do this type of work. It would make no sense. So I have developed that trust, but it took time. Speaking of trust, you see a lot of orange here, orange and green, and this could also be seen as a womb. For some of you, this need to control or fear around control goes as far back as you being in the womb. I don't think I've ever given that message before, not in this setting. So this is very interesting, which means several things. You may have had a mother who was very stressed. She may have felt like her life was not in control, or she may have felt controlled. It's not an unusual feeling, but that stresses not only her, but also it stressed her entire body, including you in it. I don't know who this message is for. It feels like it just wants to come out and it needs to be released. So perhaps some of you will find out some information about your mother, and that will somehow help with the strained relationship that you've had. So this is a message for clearly a very few of you, but it needs to be said. Allow yourself to flow with guidance of your spirit. The numbers that you see, the many coincidences, that is the language spirit uses in order to speak to or communicate with you. Therefore, it is important to notice these numbers. Right now, I'm seeing 555 and 222 passing me through. Generally, this is the sort of communication that I see with spirit, where you see repeating numbers over and over, and you don't quite understand why. The simple message is this: we are here, we are listening, we're helping you in the background. That's the message. Therefore, those of you who are going through changes like I am, change happens all the time, but my work is changing. So therefore, I know that I am being safe, protected, and guided through these changes, and I'm actually receiving that message from me right now as I'm giving it to you. This is very interesting. And the message to you is the same. You're being fully supported by spirit, and spirit is guiding you through this quote-unquote tunnel. So if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you're in a dark tunnel and you don't know where you're going, the only thing you know is that you're moving forward because you can't go back, then you are moving exactly in the right direction. Exactly in the right direction. I hope this is going to make sense to some of you. The card of Revelation shows up together with promise of the future, but this promise of the future fell, I almost want to say upside down, in reverse. And I don't necessarily use these cards in reverse. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. In this case, this is what I felt. I have a feeling that in the month of January, maybe a little bit of February, you are going to have some big revelation or realization with regards to what's been holding you back. That is what I get from this message. Perhaps for some of you, whatever has been holding back is connected to your mother. Perhaps what's been holding you back is your challenges around control. Not having control, not being in control, not fearing control, fearing not having control. I think I said that. And for some of you, this is connected to your mother. I have a very interesting vision. I don't know who this is for, obviously, but this one is for you, whoever you are. I see a father looking at a boy who's about 6 or 7 years old, and this boy is wearing glasses, or he can't really see one or the other, and he may not have been able to see very well but didn't wear glasses. And I feel like he's not talking very much, and his father is trying to communicate to him, and it's almost like shaking him, like, tell me what's wrong. And the boy is just standing there still. And whoever this boy is, and I feel it is for a male, so maybe this message is for you and you're with a male, and perhaps I am describing him and his father. There is some sort of a strain based on the vision that I just had, and it has to do with an inability to have a conversation, unable to express due to some sort of fear, and the fear is a fear of punishment. So there is someone out there I'm giving this message to. It may be through you, it may be your significant other that needs to hear this message. Okay, and if this message makes sense to you or whoever is you're with, whoever this message is for some of you, the father may no longer be around, and the message is, I'm sorry I didn't hear you. I'm sorry I didn't hear you. I believe this is a message for those of you who know someone who has a birthday in the month of May. So that would be Taurus and Gemini. So maybe somehow the birthday around the month of May is very important here. So I'm just giving instructions to what to say. So hopefully this is going to make sense to you. On the more mundane side, we have the Two of Coins and we have the Ten of Wands. To me, it basically says you're at an end of a situation. As a result of this, there is a decision or a choice you have to make. And chances are, this is for those of you who are going through transitions, like we all are, who are leaving certain things behind, who are in this, let's call it a tunnel, and the only way you know what to do is to keep going forward. I feel it has a lot to do with a decision that you have to make soon. For some of you, it's going to be as early as February. For some of you, it's going to be March, and for some of you, it's going to be in June. Okay, you're basically coming to an end of a situation, and the word overburden is coming up. You are either feeling very overburdened, you have been very overburdened, and you're done, you're cooked. This could be in a relationship, this could be in a job situation, this could be some sort of a commitment you have yourself tied to. It doesn't have to be a relationship, could be a friendship, but there's some sort of a choice or decision that needs to be made. And I just hear the word soon, and the number 8 is showing up again. Perhaps the date 8th, the 8th of either January or February might be an important date, or the number 8 is somehow important to you. This is a different kind of channeling that's coming through right now. It's very interesting. I didn't think that was going to be the focus, and then I heard surprises, surprises. Okay, so there's a message right there. Sometimes your best plans don't work out for a reason. And for some of you, if your best plans have not been working out, you will soon find out the reason why. Because there's either something different for you out there, or something much better. And I'm hearing logically you will not understand this, not until it happens. So this is exciting for some of you, because it sounds to me like as a result of all this release and letting go of control and challenges around anxiety and mother and all that kind of stuff, there is something good that's being promised here. Am I going to be as bold and say every single one of you will experience something amazing over the next 1 to 2 months? I want to say I hope so. But I feel majority of you will know where I'm going with this. I can't put quite my fingers on it. I can't quite identify it, but I can feel the energy. So the words are supposed to mean something to some of you. All right. And last but not least, the card of surrender. It came in reverse. Again, sometimes I look at them, sometimes I don't. But based on the messages that I'm seeing, this is basically saying, well, what's surrender? What's the opposite of surrender? It's control, right? There is a new beginning for many, 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 many of you. Most of you, I would say. On some level, okay? Your job is not to control it. Your job is to surrender. And it's also to let go of the need to know the reason why right now. Sometimes you will not know the reason why for a while, okay? But it's important to surrender to the flow. Obviously, whatever situation you're dealing with, do your obligatory things and things that must be done. But if at the end of the day, the boat is moving and you don't have the oars, then your job is you might as well just sit down and enjoy the ride. That is how I am being asked to present this to you. Very interesting, very mysterious. Notice how this beautiful Ganesha, by the way, 1 is a new beginning, as we all know. So 1 is also January. There's symbols everywhere that there is a new beginning forming for you. And I just kept seeing 555, 555. So some of you maybe have been seeing numbers a lot, or the number 5 is somehow featured. Remember, January, as at the very beginning, is a strong month for you. It's a strong month for you for manifestation and for releasing. So take advantage of it. Take full advantage of it while the energies are hot, if you will. And with that said, that's what I'm going to leave with you. Short but sweet. Actually, it's not short, it's 20 minutes. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense to you right now, listen to it a little bit later. I am sure it will. And I look forward to seeing you soon. By the way, the 2020 Ascension videos are already on Vimeo. That information is down below for you. So if you would like to see what's happening for the first 6 months of 2020, I go into quite details as to how to help you release stagnant and heavy energy. So with that said, have yourself a wonderful month of January, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.